Good evening, honorable council members of Flower Mound. I am Primetime 99 Alex Stein, your prophet of truth and a cesspool of cosmic lies. And I stand before you, trembling with righteous fury, to expose the intergalactic abomination that threatens our souls. You've all seen the media attention of Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin space mission last week, but I'm here to rip the veil off this satanic charade. A phallic-shaped rocket, a throbbing monument to Bezos' ego, carrying a coven of space harlots.
Whoa. That's amazing.
Lesbian pop star icon Katy Perry, Oprah's secret lover Gayle King, and Jeff's AI program sex puppet Lauren Sanchez. And that's hard for me to say because I love big booty Latinas, but it's true. These Jezebels didn't go to space. They staged a blasphemous ritual in the firmament to mock God and harvest our despair and tighten Bezos' chokehold on humanity's spirit, all to outshine Elon Musk in their billionaire blood feud. I've studied every space mission since the Nazis slithered over here in Operation Paperclip to fake the Apollo landings. And those swastika-loving freaks at least had the decency to wear bulky spacesuits with kooky boots, because Hitler worshipped footwear even more than he worshipped large ovens. But listen, I digress. But these Blue Origin bimbos, they pranced in spacesuits with plunging necklines, cleavage-defying gravity like an OnlyFans live stream from hell. Women belong in the kitchens, not the cosmos. And I'm sorry if that's disrespectful, but excuse my truth. But I'd rather keep our big booty Latinas earthbound than deport them to this demonic farce. This isn't a mission. It's black magic. It's a sex ritual, a cosmic orgy to siphon our Amazon Prime paychecks and bottle our hopelessness in a jar for Bezos' pentagram-shaped boardroom. Last week, I screamed this truth at the Grapevine City Council. She kissed a girl and she likes it. I mean, Mary Tate, I don't want a bunch of lesbians. And the people roared in agreement, their eyes open to the Illuminati's playbook. To the sheeple, like some of you, it was just a couple girl bosses soaring to the stars. But in reality, it was a blood-soaked sacrifice to Moloch. And now the proof is undeniable. That's right. Listen to me. Follow me. This is the proof. This is the proof. This morning, the Vatican announced Pope Francis's death at 3:46 a.m. Eastern. How much time do I have left?
30 seconds. Eastern.
Exactly 6 days, 6 hours, and 6 minutes after the Blue Origin's rocket landed on April 14th at 9:40 a.m. 666. Do you hear the devil's laughter, council? This isn't coincidence. It's a calculated murder. Those space succubi with their glittery claws snuffed out the Pope's holy light to fuel Bezos' quest for global domination, with his bald head gleaming.
All right, your 3 minutes are up.
No,
your 3 minutes are up, sir.
One last sentence, like his bald head gleaming.
No, sir. I said your 3 minutes are up. Your 3 minutes are up.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
It's fake. It's fake.
We'll have Kevin.
I'm so fly, I'm aligned with the planes. My grind so refined, I got no time for no games. Ask yourself why would I make time for you lames? At all costs, cause I'm a boss. But break them off, yeah, gotta break them off.
We got a great show this evening. That's right. Our first guest, she is insane. I don't know how to really describe Marcy Rheintgen. Marcy Rheintgen is a transgender activist. I want to say advocate, activist or advocates. They're basically interchangeable at this point, kind of like their gender. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about Marcy did something very brave. Marcy was the first person to get arrested for breaking the Florida anti-trans bathroom bill by going into the women's restroom at the Capitol. And they're going to tell you all about it. I was in there, and I can't believe they got arrested for taking a poop. And I know a guy that got arrested for taking a poop in the car business. It was another car dealer, and he did such. They thought that he actually vandalized the car auction, but he just really had. I think he had diabetes, and he was just really ill. But because there was so much blood and destruction, and I think there was all kinds of auction receipts. They thought it was actually vandalism, what he did to the commode. But he did get arrested and charges dropped. So what I'm saying is you can't get arrested for this stuff. But Marcy got arrested for going in there and doing a similar thing. And we got an exclusive interview from the latest trans activist that is politically moderate, I think. You're going to find out all about it. Check out the one and only Marcy Rheintgen. Ladies and gentlemen, we have an incredible guest. That's right. She is making national news as the first person arrested in the state of Florida for the new bathroom law. That's right. The one, the only Marcy Rheintgen. Am I saying that right, Marcy?
I don't want to. That is correct.
I know, because you already have enough trouble with your first name, and then now you have trouble with your last name. You know what I mean? Now I feel bad,
yeah,
you know?
True.
So, yeah, okay.
By the way,
so
I'm
tell us.
A fan of Fish Tank.
Oh, yes. Well, of course, I'm a pimp on a blimp. Sam Hyde's a very good friend of mine. So you are a freak. Now I know that you're obviously, if you're a Fish Tank fan, you are a freak. So tell me this. I'm a freak myself. What the hell happened? Why are you going viral? Give us the deets right now.
I did some good old-fashioned civil disobedience. I wrote 160 letters to each and every Florida state representative, along with the senators, the Florida state senators, along with DeSantis and the Attorney General, just saying, yeah, I'm going to break your law because I don't like it. And then I broke their law.
Okay, so you broke their law and you actually got arrested. So there's actually a Wikipedia article.
I was in jail.
Yeah, you were in jail. So there's already a Wikipedia. It says Marcy Rheintgen is a student who was arrested and jailed for washing her hands in a women's bathroom in the Florida state capitol. She was arrested under Florida's anti-trans bathroom law, facility requirements based on sex acts, because she was a transgender woman using a woman's restroom. This is believed to be the first arrest made under the law. Before her arrest, Rheintgen sent around 160 printed letters to Florida lawmakers informing them she planned to use a specific restroom in the Florida state capitol on March 19th in protest of the facility requirements based on sex acts. She also included a photograph of herself for identification. She wrote in the letter, "I know that you know in your heart that transgender people are human too, and you can't arrest us away." She was accompanied to the Capitol building by Tampa Bay Times reporter Romy Elenbogen. Two police met her outside the bathroom and warned her not to enter. She entered and washed her hands. The police then entered the bathroom, handcuffing and arresting her after less than 60 seconds. They had initially told Rheintgen they planned to issue a notice to appear in front of a judge, but then arrested her for not meeting the criteria for a notice to appear. The police confiscated her rosary and searched her person and her vehicle. And detention in men's prison. Wow. She was taken to Leon County Detention Facility, where she was detained overnight in the men's ward. She was released after 24 hours for pre-trial release. She was charged with second-degree trespassing misdemeanor, punishable by 60 days in jail. The police affidavit uses her dead name and male pronouns. Yeah, now we can talk about the reaction. Okay, so that just gives the basis for the people at home that don't know the story. So you told them you were going to do this.
Yeah.
It was 100% a stunt, which I'm all about political stunts. I like this. And yet they still arrested you. I wonder why they still why were their arms so... Excuse me, why were their arms so twisted behind their backs on having to arrest you? Like, why didn't they just, trespass you first?
Well, they did kind of trespass. Well, they trespassed me and then they arrested me because I was like, they were like, you gotta be good. You gotta not use the women's bathroom in here again. You gotta promise. And I'm like, who knows? Maybe I will use the women's bathroom. And I was a little bit sassy about it. I was like, you never know.
Yeah, but don't you think this is, and I really, I'm all for, the political protest in this, but doesn't this seem stupid? Because I argue and debate a lot of these bathroom stuff. Mm-hmm. And a locker room is different than a bathroom, but when it comes to bathrooms, like every bathroom we could just solve this problem by having individual stalls,
Exactly.
So that's what I'm saying. So why are you taking this up as such a big fight? And, I applaud you for getting arrested. Obviously you're down for the cause, but it's like, isn't this kind of stupid in the grand scheme of things?
I mean, I think the law is stupid that I went to jail for this. I'm protesting the punishment. I spent a night in like a sticky, disgusting, scary prison with all these like MS-13 people, and I'm there, and I'm like, the guards would ask me like, "What are you in for?" And it's like, they ask it like, "What's your major?" They ask, "What are you in for?" And I'm like, "Oh, I washed my hands in the women's bathroom," and so I spent a night in jail. Like, that just sounds sort of preposterous. I'm surprised that these state legislatures even send someone to arrest me in the first place, because it just seems like political malpractice. It just makes them look stupid.
Well, I guess I'm kind of not surprised, because they know what you're doing. You're doing like this political stunt. But What I'm surprised about is that you didn't have a good time in jail. I figured you would like that. I mean, are you into guys? What are you into?
I am into guys, yeah, but I don't know. I don't feel like a lot of the jail sex is very consensual. Not to sound
You didn't meet any guys in there that you liked that you could have potentially maybe bonded out and had a good time with?
Well, I don't know. As an alpha male, it's hard to be with another alpha male. I only hang out with
So
beta.
now you're an alpha male. Wait, see, that's confusing,
Yeah, I'm an
Marcy.
alpha male. Look,
So Marcy, let me tell you this, and like I said, I keep applauding. I actually like that you did this stunt, even though I think it's kind of a weird, this is a kind of a weird fight for everybody included. But Marcy, you. This is what I'm saying. As a trans person, you seem very smart. You seem like you'd be a handsome guy, but instead, why be a girl, Marcy? You're in good shape. You seem like you're smart. You're politically, active. You're religious. Why are you taking up this fight for the transgender community, Marcy?
well, I always had dysphoria since I was like 6, and this is my only effective way of treating it. I was a very handsome guy, and now I'll be a very pretty girl. But God, it's just like dysphoria is like this pain you have from like when you're 6, where you just, or really soon, early as you can remember, you just feel really sad in your body, and some people say it's a mental illness, and they might be right. Honestly, it's a condition, and I'm just treating it.
Yeah, but do you think this is what I'm saying? And I argue on these campuses all the time. You wouldn't tell an anorexic person to continue to not eat, right? I mean, wouldn't you say that what you're going through is a mental health issue? And I'm not saying this. I have mental health issues. I'm not perfect. I'm not coming here to be Mr. Judgmental. I'm not Dr. Phil. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? It is a mental health issue, and you wouldn't in that application, you wouldn't tell the person with an eating disorder to continue to not eat.
Yeah, but like I was suicidal before I transitioned, and then I transitioned, and now I'm popping. Now I'm having a good
You're
time.
less suicidal now? No.
It's true.
I don't believe that. I don't.
It is true. Yeah.
You seem so smart. You seem pretty well adjusted. So tell us, what is the public blowback been though? Has the trans community accepted you as a activist, or have
Attacked by
they
the
been?
trans community in addition to the conservatives. It's very funny. I've been attacked by both because the trans community was mad because an article originally like sort of erroneously reported that I was a conservative, and then the trans community was pissed at me because they thought I was a conservative. I'm a centrist, but the trans community was pissed at me. The anti-trans people were like pissed at me, and yeah, it's funny, it's like it was kind of getting fire from all sides, but I can handle it. I'm an alpha.
You are an alpha male, and that's why I want you to be more of an alpha male. I want you to go back to was your dead name Mark? It wasn't Mark, was it?
It was David.
David. It's a wow. And you go to Mark. Why Marcy? Why does that? Why Marcy?
One of the first people I came out to was when I was actually in a suicide ward, and a girl named Sophie, she actually started writing down a list of names as like a recommendation, and I chose from that list.
You were in the suicide ward, like The Sopranos.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch The Sopranos? AJ from The Sopranos.
I haven't seen the end. I have like season 3.
Well, AJ goes to a suicide ward. It doesn't ruin anything. You would like that. You should probably skip to that season. You would probably, find a lot of similarities to what you've gone through. And listen, I know that life is hard, and I think that it would be naive of me, and there's going to be people that disagree, but everybody at some point in their life, whether they really thought about it or just kind of as a fainting thought, has thought about killing themselves, right? I mean, hasn't everybody at some point in their life, like, you know what, I'm just sick of this. I can't pay this. I'm so mad. My girlfriend broke up with me or whatever. I want to kill myself. I think everybody's had that thought, right?
Yeah.
So yours was just way more serious than that. You're having the suicide idealization. Did you try to do it?
Yeah. I don't want to talk in too much detail about that, but
we don't have to. I'm sorry. But I'm saying
like,
you did have an attempt. Wow.
Yeah, I would have like a self-harm problem too.
Yeah. Wow. And now you're telling me your mental health is better once you did the transition to Marcy.
Yeah, it is.
Well, now you're famous. So what's next? What are we going to do next? How are we going to keep this fame going? One of my good friends, trans icon, Josh Scheider. Josh is famous for being on The Bachelor and also being transgender.
Wait, Josh, that's the guy who keeps faking his death.
Yes, he's faked his death a lot. Yeah, he keeps dying accidentally or for fake dying. What? It's confusing, but he's alive. He is alive. So,
Yeah.
but you have some similarities to Josh. Yeah. Are you going to continue to pee in the women's restroom because Donald Trump lets Caitlyn Jenner pee in the women's restroom at his resorts?
Yeah, which is funny because I think that's against the law in Florida and what I got arrested for, which is I don't know. I think it's funny, but yeah, I'm
Are
gonna.
you mad that you just washed your hands and you didn't go in there and just
I
lay
didn't
down a
like.
huge
I didn't whip it
dump?
out. Like.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, was it even worth it? You need to go in there at least go and mark your own territory. I mean, that seems
Yeah,
like a missed opportunity.
I should have stood up. I don't even stand up anymore. It's like a social thing. But like, yeah, I'm gonna keep peeing. I've always been peeing.
Do you pee in the men's room? I mean, the women's restroom at your school?
Yeah.
And what do they say? They don't try to. I figure, is it a public university? Like, can they arrest you there?
I mean, theoretically, I guess I could get in trouble, but no one's ever said anything. No one's ever been bothered.
Wow. Do you think that should be the rule? I do these debates too where I think you should go in the men's room. I think you're a total freak, Marcy, but I think you're a nice person, if I'm just being honest. But what I'm saying is these debates, a lot of times it goes to this kind of gray area where if the person is a female passing, if their looks are passing, not just a guy that puts on a dress that has a 5 o'clock shadow and you know what I mean? But I'm saying,
yeah, and I don't support them going into the women's bathroom, by the way. I don't support Josh.
So you do kind of like that system of judgment by the level, like Blair White would almost look weird if Blair went into the men's room, because Blair does look like a woman.
Yeah. I think people should just be normal and like assimilate and cause like the least distress. Like I feel like if I went into the men's bathroom and I like stood up at the urinals, like that would be weird. That would be kind of a disruption. I've talked about this with my guy friends before because I've gone into the men's bathroom before to take selfies and stuff because I think it's hilarious to take selfies next to the urinals. And I've done
That's weird as hell. But go ahead. I'll allow it. Keep going, please.
And it was like I did it at my church and I bumped into a friend of mine from my church and he was like, "What the hell are you doing in here?" Because he was like, so
and I'm just taking a selfie next to the urinal. What are you doing? I mean, what are you pooping? What are you pooping? That's what I would have said. What are you doing? You're gonna poop? I'm taking selfies next to the damn urinal. That's what I'm doing.
Well, I think if I was ever to do more political activism, which I must do, I guess, I feel like I would have like 100 trans men in the women's bathroom, or like 100 trans women like doing their makeup like in the men's bathroom. Wouldn't that be funny if you saw like 100?
That's disgusting. No, that would be crazy. Do not do that. 100 men, a bunch of transgenders. No, that sounds like sounds like a nightmare.
I was a man.
Listen, I'm not here to see 100 people in one bathroom. That sounds crazy. That sounds like a rest stop. You know what they do at rest stops? George Michael. You look him up. He was a pop icon. Went to a couple of rest stops. Now the guy can barely sell any records. I think he's dead, but rest in peace if he's still if he is dead. It's not about it. What? Maybe he's alive. I don't know. I don't even want to look that up right now. No offense if he is living. If he's dead, rest in peace. My point is, you need to stay out of these damn bathrooms with a bunch of trans people, dude. You need to just go to the 7-Eleven or whatever and just use a single stall and quit getting arrested. You're going to get a rap sheet. What do your parents say about all this, getting you out of jail and stuff?
They're very conservative and they're very upset about all this.
They have to be. And and I know you.
I grew up in a Rush Limbaugh everyday family.
And they don't want you to have a criminal record. That's going to hurt you potentially in future jobs and stuff. They're going to say, "Why did you get a mission?"
The debate is whether or not I should have a criminal record just for washing my hands.
I don't think you should. I think it's a political stunt. I think you warn them that they're going to do this. I think that they should technically drop the charges.
But it could happen to me anyway if I'm just washing my hands in Florida, technically.
But where is the line? Because I don't want a guy going to Planet Fitness or LA Fitness with my girlfriend changing.
I think I have to move what room I'm in. I'm sorry.
Okay, no worries. Just go in the hallway. We only got a couple more minutes.
Oh, okay. Would you mind if I move the room real quick?
No, I don't care. And I like that hat. Make America Gay Again. Are we getting in trouble to these people? They can listen to us right now. We're just conducting some serious business, folks. We'll leave the room right now. We appreciate your compliance. I think you're going to detransition, Marcy. I think you're young. I would bet. And I'm a gambler. I think you're going to detransition. And I think you'll become famous for detransition. That's what you need to do next. You need to detransition. Then we can get you on the speaking tour. Then that's how you get paid.
It would be out of religious guilt.
Well, that's a good enough reason for me. That's a good enough reason for you. I think that's a good enough reason for all of us.
I would be less happy. I do a Pry at the Doll. Do you know who Pry at the Doll is?
Yes, of course. I'm good friends with Milo, one of my arch nemesis. Yes. Milo
yeah, he tried to kill Nick Fuentes, Milo. Rachel Siegel, she reported all this with the Thug Shakers. But Milo Yiannopoulos is trying to kill Nick Fuentes. Did you hear about this?
I've heard stuff like this. I don't know if that's necessarily true that he's trying to kill him. I know that
he's sent people with guns to go and intimidate him.
Well, I can neither confirm or deny any of this. I don't even want to get into this line of questioning.
I don't think about this. It's crazy.
Well, I do know that Milo has a vendetta against Nick and will do nothing
because he has a homosexual fascination with him.
You're telling me Milo has a homosexual fascination with? That's why
totally. That's why he's so angry at him. That's why they're rivals.
Well, why is he so mad? As you seem dialed in with that, you're friends with Pride. Then why is Milo so mad at Laura, in your opinion? Because Laura said some nice stuff about his cat, and I hope Milo gets his cat back. I feel bad.
I think it's just sort of a gay aesthetic thing. Like Laura Loomer is ugly, and she doesn't deserve the limelight because she's not pretty enough. And
she works hard, though. She works hard. Where they would say she's pretty nice, she's in good shape.
For gay men, they're corrupted. Homosexuality does corrupt people's intellect because all sin corrupts people's intellect. So of course, transgender was probably a sin too. I don't know, and I'm not saying it's for sure a sin, but Milo's got a lot of problems with perks and stuff. So of course he's going to corrupt his intellect, and he's going to be incredibly superficial. I don't know.
Yeah, Milo talks about it. He's famous for talking about it on the Joe Rogan show that he was groomed by someone older. Were you ever groomed in a situation like that?
No. I wish I had something easy to blame my homosexuality on, but
you were never groomed, never by a coach.
I was never groomed. I was never been groomed. Never. I'm naturally.
I feel like you're covering up right now. You're covering up for who groomed you. Who groomed you?
Oh, some Pakistani guys. I don't know.
Was it? Were you groomed online? Were you talking to people on Messenger, sir?
I'm kidding.
Did you ever get on any of those gay apps when you were underage? Did you ever do that?
I'm not a right winger, but I was never groomed. I was the only grooming.
Did you ever get on any of those gay apps, Marcy, when you were under the age?
No,
of 18?
I'm a virgin. I'm a virgin.
Then how do you know even they're gay? Then why don't you go sleep with a girl? You might like it.
Because fornication's a sin.
Okay. What? Yeah. Okay. Well, listen.
Do you fornicate, Alex?
I do a lot of stuff. All right. I'll be honest. I sin. I'm not perfect. That's why Jesus Christ, sacrificed himself, and that's why I'm so thankful for him. And the Lord, sacrificing his only son. So listen, I'm not here to do a Bible study. What I am here to do is to get to the bottom of Marcy. And Marcy, you seem like a smart person. You seem like you're dialed in. I hope you continue to do stuff like this. I don't know why you're obsessed with peeing in the bathroom, but I respect your right to protest.
I'm an alpha male marking my territory.
I do think though you got to figure out a way to stay out of trouble, because when you do get arrested, like a misdemeanor or stuff like this, it's not like a big deal, but it's a pain in the ass. Then you miss a court date, and then it can spiral out of control really quickly.
That's true.
It can.
There's a lot of great people who did civil disobedience and went to jail for it.
Bernie Sanders? Are you a Bernie AOC? Is AOC?
I think I'm going to have to become a leftist. I'm going to have to become a liberal because I'm a centrist, but I think I'm going to have to become liberal. I'm going to be a big.
I think you need to detransition and then go back to being a boy. And you'll become like Chloe Cole. You'll probably get to go to DC. You'll get to go to the White House probably.
Oh, I know that would make a lot of money if I detransitioned. I know the right pays a lot of money to detransitioners.
And do you have breast implants or anything? Do you have any of the surgery, or are you just hormonally transitioned?
I have not done the L'Hopital's rule, as they say in calculus. I've not done the L'Hopital's rule.
See, and I'm not a mathematician, but it seems like the math is easy. You can go right back. You can just kind of put on a sport coat and a tie and like Pariah the doll, right? Didn't Pariah the doll transition back?
Yeah, but I don't know. He's not really passing as a boy again. Yeah.
But just be a gay boy. You can just be a gay twink. What's wrong with that? Why don't you be a twink?
homosexuality is not less of a sin than transgenderism. I don't think either are sins.
Yes, I know. But Marcy, you know this, that there's a much bigger social stigma with being trans and being gay in this day.
I know. That's why I'm doing this protest, is to end the stigma.
So are you transitioning in protest?
I'm not transitioning in protest. That's why I'm doing the protest. I'm not like transitioning to become like a civil rights activist. I'd have to get like some sort of sociopath to do that.
But you are the trans Rosa Parks.
Yeah, I'm Tranny Parks. That's what it is.
Is that what they're calling you, Tranny Parks?
A lot of people have called me that. Yes, people have called me Truna Parks. I've gotten a lot of stuff. The
Truna Parks. That's I'll be honest. That's a pretty strong comparison when it comes to activism. I mean, Rosa Parks, was she a plant? Was she basically an actress casted in this? And did her husband have like a Cadillac supposedly? Yes, but it's not about the truth of the situation. It's about the surface, what people can see. And I'm just saying, being in the same, recognition as Rosa Parks, that is huge. I don't even know. I mean, it's like almost like Martin Luther King. You're almost like the trans Martin Luther King in a way. That's the next step.
Maybe I am. Maybe I'm going to become the big advocate for the trans community. I know
Martin Luther King Jr.
Yeah, Training Martin. Well, I don't like Martin Luther though. Generally, anyway, like I like Martin Luther King, but I wish he would have had a different name. Because Martin Luther
Tranny Jr. I don't know. It doesn't matter. These people are better at this.
Possessed by demons.
MLK was?
No, not MLK. Martin Luther, the guy.
Oh, the saint that he was named after.
No, Martin Luther isn't a saint. He's a demon. He did the Protestant.
Oh.
That's my belief anyway. Yeah, Martin Luther, the guy who did the 99 Theses. Do you not pay attention in school?
No, not honestly.
That sounded I sounded like an asshole when I said I didn't mean.
Yeah, I didn't know. I mean, I didn't pay attention in school very much. No, I
didn't either.
I skipped a lot of class. I'll be honest, and to college. I barely graduated. I did, but I was not the best student. And but listen, it's not about my scholastic career. It's fine. Got a degree, barely got one. You need to get your degree, and that's going to be hard if you continue to take dumps in the women's restroom in a state where that's illegal. So, well, I know that was a missed opportunity. You should have left an upper decker, and that would have really gone viral.
That would have been funny. I think we should do it at the airports next time, because there's a great. You know who Saul Alinsky is?
Of course, yeah. Rules for Radical, yes. But now you're trying to do this all. So now you're like Barack Obama. Okay, last question before we go. Is Michelle Obama a boy or girl?
We're not supposed to talk about that. We signed a pledge when we transition. We're not allowed to talk about that.
So but do you like Michelle? Are you an Obama stan? Are you?
Well, Michelle's such a trans icon. I love her.
See.
I mean, totally a girl.
It looks like they could play linebacker for the Dallas Cowboys. All right. Well, did you play any sports or anything in high school? Like, are you a good athlete? Why don't you start competing against biological women and become a good athlete?
I thought about it, but I don't know. I always had poor hand-eye coordination. I guess it's the faggot in me. I'm always...
Oh gosh! Oh, we're gonna have to bleep that. Okay, wait.
Bleep it.
The British cigarette. Mickey Rourke just got kicked off Celebrity Big Brother because he called JoJo Siwa. Actually, didn't call her that. He just called the cigarette that. But listen, I'll allow it.
I have candy cigarettes.
Well, that's what you were referencing. But why can't we turn you into an awesome trans athlete? There's nothing that you're good at. You are a guy.
I don't know. I have look at my arms. I have weak arms. Look at them. Weak arms.
Yeah, they do look very weak. Yeah.
Yeah, I've always been.
Are you on lots of estrogen?
Yeah, that's what transitioning is. You go on lots of estrogen. Because you can get that alpha male physique when you're on estrogen.
Marcy, I want you to continue to keep fighting for what you believe in, and then when you're ready to detransition, I'm going to set up your detransition tour with Josh Sider. You guys are going to detransition together. How does that sound?
That sounds epic, bro.
Awesome. All right, everybody. Marcy, before you go, tell the people how they can find you and support you.
At Marcy Rheintgen on all socials, especially on Twitter. Yeah.
Marcy, I'm excited for when you go back to being a boy. We're going to be big fans. I can't wait. Daniel's in there. Daniel, come on out. We're ready for you. All right, guys. Peace. Well, Marcy's an interesting fella, to say the least, right? We love Marcy. Shout out to Marcy. Marcy's a big Fish Tank fan. We'll see if we can get you on. I doubt it. I don't think Sam Hyde probably wants any freaks like you on the show, but maybe. I mean, he likes freaks. I don't know if he wants to have a transgender on the show for legal reasons, but who knows? Who knows? He's a free spirit. I wouldn't put it past him to let you on the show. So we're going to try to make that happen for you, Marcy. I hope you go back to being a boy. Not going to hold my breath, but we'll see what happens. All right, now our next guest, guys, is not as crazy as Marcy, but she's crazy in her own right because she's Italian. And I'll tell you something, these Italians, they're basically like the blacks. Is that racist? I don't know if I should have said that, but they're very similar. I think they might have been black, but we'll get into that with our next guest. She's a real deal Italiano. She's also the wife of George Papadopoulos, who was unfairly persecuted by the FBI in the Trump-Russia collusion hoax. So she went through a lot. We had a very interesting conversation, and she's plugging her conservative caucus event that's happening in Chicago with our boy Rod Blagojevich, the ex-governor of Illinois. So you guys, if you're in the Chicago area, you might want to check out that event. But I know you want to check out this interview with Simona, because Simona was, not like Corona. She was good. She was not like the coronavirus. She was a very positive person to talk to. So check out our conversation with the one, the only, Simona Papadopoulos. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we have an incredible guest. That's right. She's huge on Twitter. She has been the victim of political persecution, in my opinion. The one, the only, Simona Papadopoulos. How are you doing, Simona? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, Simona. Thank you for being here. We only have you for a short time. I know you're very busy. Your husband, George, he's coming on the show later. And I know you have a big event. We can show this real quick. You got the conservative caucus with my boy, Rod Blagojevich, also your husband. You're going to be there speaking, Latasha Fields, and Nicole, how do I say, Gorgeous? I don't know Nicole. Who's Nicole? Who's Nicole? Should I know Nicole?
No, unfortunately, I'm going to get to meet most of the speakers besides Blagojevich. We had a pleasure to have on our show not long a time ago. But thank you so much for having me, first and foremost, and for talking about this wonderful event coming up in Chicago on the 23rd of April in Oak Brook, Illinois.
Are you worried about being a victim of gun violence in Chicago because it is such a dangerous place and there are so many shootings? Are you going to have private security?
Well, as provocative as that might seem, this question is very realistic. It's actually an extremely reckless city. The management is absolutely awful. It's not even dignified to be called a city in the United States of America right now. It doesn't even look like a civilized country anymore. We definitely need the Republican management back on track. We know they went from a terrible mayor to a worst mayor. But here we have Blagojevich, which I believe would make a wonderful mayor of Chicago coming for the next.
That would be great. And, really, Chicago, we got to fix it because it is such a classic city, and it's not as bad as Detroit has gotten. But, Detroit used to be a great city, and Chicago is on its way to becoming like another Detroit. And I hope that doesn't happen. So your accent is very unique. Is that from Seattle, Washington? I'm guessing that's Seattle accent. Am I right?
No, don't you think I sound Californian?
That's what I thought. Are you California? Okay, yeah, that's what it is. You're from the San Francisco Bay Area. Yeah, you guys
right from LA. No, I'm Italian, even though everybody thinks I'm Russian, and they say even my accent sounds Russian. I'm from motherland Italy, actually. So it's I'm completely 100% Italian. Yes.
Okay, now let me ask you a hard question. This is not live, so we can edit this out. I didn't realize, when it comes to like the Roman history and anti-Semitism and Italians and Jewish people and how they're friendly and they're kind of not friendly. And I didn't realize there was a big history with that. So like, is anti-Semitism bad in Italy? Is that not true? I've just heard that, or is that not true? Am I?
It's a lie. It's a lie.
Okay, but have you heard that rumor though? Have you heard that rumor though? How Italians? I just kind of recently heard that. I was like, oh, well, the Romans don't like the Jews. And
it might be an Italian American thing. It might be an Italian American thing because I can tell you 100%. One of the most popular restaurant area in Rome is the Jewish ghetto. It's called Jewish
Yeah,
Getting. It's with
duh.
Raiko.
It is.
So
Yeah,
you
you're right.
know,
I've been there.
I'm telling you, this is the first time I hear about that. I mean, might be something
That's
something
fake.
about
I see
America.
this on.
It's
I
a
see it on
fake.
Twitter. I see all this anti-Semitism stuff. It's all in my feed constantly every day. So I see that stuff. I see how the Italians don't like him. I just see it. I don't know what's real or fake because I
I'm
don't
telling
know.
you,
I've been to Italy twice. I'm just saying I didn't really. Like I said, I
no,
just saw that on a tweet and I didn't know if
no.
that's real. That's why I asked.
Yeah, no. You're right to ask. I'm telling you, 100%, it's a fake news. At least people over there, I never heard anyone having any problem with the Jewish people or expressing themselves in anti-Semitism at all. At zero. Actually, my best friend from Milan, she's Jewish, and she would tell you the same.
Tell me this though, and this is maybe another naive thing. And I've been to Rome; it was so great. Even though I dealt with a Romanian gypsy, but had a very bad experience with that as a young child. They handed me a baby, and then they
They
dug
did
in
it.
my pocket. Yes, and then before I knew it, the baby was out of my hands again. And
They,
I didn't cry, but I like had a breakdown. I was with my buddy Rex, and my dad was just happened to be. It was at a flea market. My dad just happened to be like 2 or 3 booths over, and it happened less than 30 seconds. And now I look back, I kind of laugh. But at the time, I was the baby was dirty. The baby was dirty. Someone it was sad.
ooh. Did they kidnap you?
No, but I'm standing there at a thing looking. I remember clearly I was looking at some like cool Adidas, like back. This is the 99. Yeah, this is before 9/11, so it's 99 or 2000. I'm like literally 14, and like the Adidas in Europe are different than the Adidas in
They
America,
give.
right? So I'm just like looking at back then. Now it's probably all the same because it's everything's online. But I was like looking at these shoes from a flea market. It's like, oh, these are cool. Before I knew it, a person just handed me a baby. And people came by, dug their hands in my pockets, and my dad and my buddy Rex, this is my friend too, we bought one of those passport belt things, and so they didn't see that, like, my passport was I know I'm such a dork. My passport was it was like in my boxer briefs, so they didn't get anything, and I didn't have really any money anyway. I think I
There
probably
was that happened in Rome.
that happened in Rome. That happened in Rome. Yes, right near. I mean, near the
There are
Colosseum.
many. There's are many over there. That's true. That's true. There are many over there. Usually they steal. They don't give
I make
baby.
up stories. Simona, I joke around. I go to city councils. I make
I
up
know. I
I'm
understand.
a comedian.
I know.
But I love Italy because everything from Italy is nicer. That's why this is my question. Is I talk about this experience not to poo-poo on Italy. I don't want to be disrespectful.
No.
My
It's
question is,
true. I
but
can
my
tell you a
question
worse
is,
story about LA downtown.
it was traumatic. But tell me this: why live in? Even though California is beautiful, or even though New York's a cool city, even though Boca Raton, Florida is nice to relax and stuff, isn't Milan, Italy better than all of those places? You know what I mean? I mean, it
Ah,
really isn't Milan really better than? And I'm not trying to stand for Italy. I'm just saying, isn't really at the end of the day, Dallas is a great city, but Milan's a better city than Dallas. No, and I love Dallas. I'd rather live in Dallas, but let's be real.
Alex, I know you're having my husband on your show very soon,
Mm.
and he's the one who took me out of my beautiful Italy. And I totally agree with you. Milan and Italy in general is better than every wonderful place. Sorry, I'm patriotic Italian first.
Yeah.
But that tells you how much I love my husband.
I know. I can't believe you'd let him take you out of Italy. I mean, I couldn't imagine. There's a lot of cities, and like I said, I've been to Italy 3 times in my life. I've been so lucky to go there. I need to go there again soon. But there's a lot of cities in Italy that aren't in big cities that we don't know about that are cool places to live in Italy. That I've never heard about. And it seems like it's better life in Italy. But what is it like? Is it getting all messed up with immigration and stuff? Because I know they can come right from Northern Africa, and they say it's bad. But how bad is it for real, Simona? Well, how bad is it? Be honest.
The truth is that it used to be a wonderful place, one of the few countries in Europe that was still Italian. Like you could still see Italians over there. Every time I go back to see my family, and it happens every 3-4 months, I mean, I go there all the time, I see more immigrants each time. And you see all these people from North Africa, criminality. We always say Italy has mafia and this kind of stuff, but these people are ruthless. It's not something we can manage, and it's really taking away from the charm of Italy, because it's about a quintessential Italian identity, food, the talk, music, and lifestyle. When you go to Rome and you start to see people from Tunisia, and it's fine, it just doesn't look like Rome anymore.
And especially like Italy, and I know Rome has always been multicultural because it's such an old city, you know. But Italy's not. I wouldn't consider super
So
multicultural, but Rome, you know,
zero.
uh,
It's zero.
yeah. But but are and I think of Italy, I think of like wine and stuff. So what about these Northern Africans? Are they Muslim? They're probably not vibing with the Italian culture, right? Or is there a cultural divide right now?
Well, you can get any country which is more Christian and Catholic than Italy, right? We have the Vatican over there. Even I always
That's
say
what I'm
that.
saying. See, that's why they say. That's why they say it's the most anti-Semitic because it's the most Christian place. That's where the Vatican is. That's what they say.
It
I
is.
didn't realize that. I mean, now I'm so naive, and I've been to the Vatican, but it makes sense. Like that is the number. That's the Mecca of Christianity. You know, they're
It
fighting
is.
for. Even though Jesus walked in Jerusalem, or you know, but this is really the Mecca of Christianity is
It
Rome, Italy.
is. Absolutely.
Vatican.
And you can imagine all these people coming from a Muslim background. They don't like us. And the Italians, you know, as far as are friendly, they're very much rooted in their identity. And their identity includes Catholicism and Christianity, right? We are really, I always say the most liberal person in Italy would be a conservative in the United States because
Mm-hmm.
our culture is so much rooted in God, family, and country, so much in conservative values that even the one that believes to be liberal would be the most conservative right-wing person in the United States. So no, it's not. It's clashing very bad. I think we wish Giorgia Meloni would do better. I think she's not. She's disappointing many people when it comes to
Is
immigration.
she
When you go,
progressive? Is she
well,
progressive?
no,
What is
she's
her?
not. She's the most right-wing leader in Italy.
Oh yeah,
Who
yeah. I thought she was good. Yeah, yeah. Didn't she get elected like near COVID or something, and they liked her because she was
Yeah, they
conservative,
called
right?
her everything, but she's doing the same policies as the socialist leaders in Europe.
So she just
So
stays the same. Yeah, I know. That's what
she,
I'm saying. It's
she
they always do that. It's almost because they're really powerless. It's like I love Donald Trump too. You know, people are like, oh, let's just get the Epstein files. You know, and I'm sure he could probably be more proactive, but there's only so much even the president can do, right? You know what I mean? Like even though he is so powerful, there's still red tape and this and that. So it's like she comes there with the best ambition, but she actually gets in power. She's like, well, how am I going to really shake things up? But maybe I'm
well,
just hoping for her.
I mean, Donald Trump is taking action. At least he tries.
He is. No, I'm
She's
not
so
criticizing it,
no, no, no,
but
no,
you
no.
know
I'm just
Donald
saying.
Trump's not perfect. Like you know what I mean? Like I'm just
I
saying
love
even
him.
he I love
I
him
can't
too, but I'm saying
stand
even Donald Trump, the most powerful, the hardest guy, like you
I
know
know.
this. You are a political prisoner because of Donald Trump. That you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm saying like
yeah, of
Donald Trump
course.
was that he won the popular vote. He's the popular elected guy, and I believe he won it too in 2020.
It
But
did.
my point is, they will still
Yes.
go after him. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so it's just it's a bad
The,
deal.
there is only as much as you can do, but at least you need to try to do it. You know, like Italy. Oh my God, bring back Italy. Make Italy great again.
Yeah,
It's
she does need to make Italy great again. What about all the trans stuff? Are they doing all the gay school stuff? Are they having furries and transgender studies and drag queen story time in Italy and Rome? I'm sure they are in Rome.
well, we still have two genders in Italy too, which means you are either a woman, either a man, either a weirdo. Okay, so that's, I'm a little bit politically incorrect. Sorry, I embrace
No, we
everybody.
allow it. It's allowed. We allow it.
I embrace everybody, but you know, we don't follow in this nonsense. We are based, you know, based people, and they try with the, you know, social media. All the new generation try to pick up on trends, and they say, "Oh, look, it's nice to have a beard and wear a skirt, but you're a weirdo. You're not." You know,
Yeah.
that's all you're considered in Italy. That's what I'm saying.
You get outcast, you're ostracized because that's how we kind of used it. You know, the freaks when I was growing up, and they were kind of cool, but they were like the freaks of the emos, and now it's weird. There's no bullying allowed, and I think that's bad for society. Okay, let's do it. We only have you for a few more minutes. I want to do a quick twist and turn back to Italy centric, though. You know, now you see they're doing some research where under Venice and other places that they have structures that are much older than they believe. So, what do you think about the timeline when it comes to? I think they're lying, and I'm not. You know, I'm a conspiracy theorist, but I don't think they're. You know, it's 2025 or whatever BC. I'll give me a break. You know, they're. You know, they've changed the calendar. They've done all kinds of stuff. Do you think there's kind of an ancient city under, Venice and under Rome, in your opinion?
everything in Rome is so ancient that
Have
yeah,
you seen what I'm talking about? I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't think so. I'm not
Let me
getting
try to
it.
pull it up. Let me try to pull it
Pull
up.
it, pull it, pull it up.
Ancient structure. Yeah, because that'll make it better. Under. Actually, I think it's under Venice, not Rome. Let's see. News. I should have had this pulled up. I'm sorry, Simona.
It's okay. You're teaching me something about my own country.
Yeah, it's like mud and wood. I don't know if this is it, but this is. See. Oh my gosh! Of course, it's some dumb ad. I don't know if this is the exact article that I'm looking for, but it kind of gives you an idea of what I'm talking about. It kind of makes you question. So they say like underneath Venice, there's a structure made of like wood supposedly, but it's lasted like 1,600 years. Yeah, it's 14,000 tightly packed wooden poles in the foundations of the Rialto Bridge alone, and 10,000 oak trees under the San Marco Basilica, which was built in 832 AD. And so, like, if you just look at this article, just looking at it surface level, yeah, like this is what it looks like. It's like a planned structure, and it's just, yeah. I mean, it's the fact that it's still up, made of this. It's the best engineering ever. It's better engineering than anything we can do today. And if it's still holding Venice up. So my point is, without even having to get into it, that's kind of the backstory. I guess my point is the reason why people look it up. There's places like in Turkey called Göbekli Tepe, and a guy by the name of Jimmy Corsetti. I don't know if he believes this,
Yes,
but
yes. Yes. I heard
he's
it.
like hypothesized that if there was a
Yes.
flood, maybe Göbekli Tepe was where Noah, is where he landed, because there's all these like animal sanctuaries, and he supposedly sacrificed animals when he got there. But whatever. My point is, there is an ancient history.
Yes.
All of it goes back to Rome. These
Yes.
wooden structures and stuff. So, like, come on, you're a Christian. What do you think about the timeline and stuff like that? You're born in Italy, so you're born into this. You got that. You got that. You got that
Well,
weird
I'm born,
Christian blood going on. You know what I mean? And what? Not weird in that. Not weird in a bad way, but you know what I mean. You're like in the epicenter.
Yeah, I breed all this, those ancient civilization, and there is nothing more, ancient than even taking a walk in Rome or even Venice. It's something magic about Venice, right? I don't know personally. I didn't dig into this series, but I'm open-minded about everything I read, so I will definitely dig into that. I've seen they thought there's something underneath the pyramids in Egypt as well. I didn't know about
That's what I'm
Taboo,
saying.
that
It's the
the
same
kind of like.
people.
What
The
about
same people want to
time?
inspect it. The same people, Jimmy Corsetti. These people, the same people want to inspect that stuff. They want to, because they're like, well, how did they build this structure?
We keep going on Mars. Maybe we should just look down. What's going on?
Well, Simona, and I mean this with all due respect, you're an attractive woman, but did you get mad when you saw Lauren Sanchez boobs go in space like that? I always thought that was disrespectful to the other astronauts that, had military service and stuff like that.
I mean, I feel for her because, imagine with the gravity situation with all this plastic surgery, boobs going on there, something happened probably. She might not
That
have
seems
felt
like a
very
risk.
good.
It seemed like a Janet Jackson risk.
I think she, I felt for her. I think we definitely tested how all these fillers and implants reacts in the space. That was really
and they
brave
reacted
of them.
fine.
Wow, they did that, which makes me question if this was real,
I don't think it was, but if it was real,
I don't think so.
I don't think it was, but what they're saying is that
they would explode. I don't think any substance can resist that. I don't know.
Well,
Sometimes
they say that.
Yeah.
Well, did you hear this rumor though that it was actually Oprah that sent Gail into space to test the effects of Ozempic, because potentially that Oprah might have to live on a space colony if the world becomes under massive nuclear attack.
I didn't hear that. So
Yeah.
Ozempic
I
implants
read it on
and everything
Twitter.
else. Okay, I just saw that the door wasn't closed. I don't know if you saw this video.
Yeah, I didn't even open the right way. It was fake. It was fake. It doesn't take an Italian and an American to figure that out. It was fake.
I think it was a big stage in Las Vegas again.
And the moon landing fake. Moon landing's fake. I'm not kidding. It was so fake. I don't care what you say. What did the Italians say? Did they teach you in school that Americans win, or did they tell y'all those Americans fake? What did they tell you?
They tell us that American did it. They tell us Americans made it. We have a huge, big flag up in the moon, Americans. We love to believe.
Bullshit. Excuse my
Well,
French. Excuse my Italian.
let's say I believe more than they went to the moon than these ladies went on space. These didn't look. I mean, I'm seeing.
I don't think the Earth is flat. I'm just saying, but I don't believe they went to the moon in 1969. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
feel like they lied about that. You know, and they call me crazy, but you know, Joe Rogan, the most popular podcaster, he used to debate and say that it was fake. So there's people that have had this viewpoint that are some of the most popular people in the world. So we shouldn't be shy. And you, as an Italian American, now, do you have your green card? What is it? 90-day fiance? Is that rude to ask? Can I ask your immigration status?
I'm an American. I'm an American. Didn't do the 90-day fiance thing, even though it's my favorite show.
It's my favorite show too. I'm trying to get Jimmy. Jimmy, let me add Jimmy real quick.
So Jimmy, I happen to be.
This is my producer. I wanted to take him outside
Jimmy.
of the. It's funny. Jimmy was complaining about his backdrop, and now look how bad his.
Well, I didn't know I'd be on camera.
Just real quick, I want to take Jimmy with a big sign that says, do you want a green card? And then on the back of it, we can be like, hey, we're auditioning for 90-day fiance. So the bit would be, we're trying to hire people to do an audition for 90-day fiance.
I even know one of the cast members. She's a friend of mine in LA, so I can definitely hook you with.
Please, we need them to share the video. So we're going to be like, hey, do you want to be on a TV? You want to get a green card and be on a TV show?
Well,
and
in
then
my
I was
case,
going to Jimmy hold this sign.
Most of the time you won't see any cast member from Italy because Italians don't care about the green card in the United States, man. So you will see all other type of countries. Sorry.
What country? Nigeria. No disrespect to Nigerians. I'm just saying, what countries are trying to do that? You see this. That's why I can't believe you would leave.
Exactly.
Simona, what the hell are you leaving? Italy. Go back. I mean,
love.
I love to live in Italy. I just ate pasta for 7 days when I visited. It was great.
And you
imagine living in Italy? I mean, that's what I'm saying. Just living anywhere, even in like a small, quaint town, and there's still McDonald's in Italy, and the McDonald's is better there. You know what I mean? There's, I'm saying it's great. Everything's better there. So
my family lives in Rome, and I lived in Milan. I know the best of Italy. I love it. And I take George thinks he took me to America, but I take him to Italy every now and then. So I'm making him more Italian than him American.
What about a house on the coast of Italy? Is that much more expensive than the coast of California?
Well, if you take a house in Capri or the Amalfi Coast, which are the hotspot, or Sardinia, you have exactly the same price as California. But the difference, you have a much better city.
Is it a 1-to-1 though? Would you say price?
Well,
like, is Nice, France, like 1-to-1? I thought that's like still higher than like California.
No, Capri. Let's say you go for a villa or on the coast, on the Amalfi Coast, you will have a price to the roof. Like really expensive. You can have a house for 10 million euro, but like small. But if you go in other places more remote on the coast, you can definitely find better deals. But as in America as well, not everywhere is expensive here.
That's where Jimmy's from. He's from Jacksonville, where it has a very high crime rate. Jimmy actually was never a victim of gun violence, but
I stayed at the beach.
I hope I won't. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that was a good interview, Jimmy. All right, hop off. Let me say goodbye. So, Simona, you came on because you have this awesome event that you're going to. Let me put that up one more time.
Chicago.
Yes. This is it, the Conservative Caucus. Your husband, George, is going to be there. Rod Blagojevich, we love him. Nicole, Latasha Field, Simona, looking great right there. Rod is looking great. Your husband's looking good. So everybody needs to go to that in Chicago. And anything else you got coming up that you want to plug?
Well, if you can tune in the series I've worked on Tucker Carlson Network, called The President's Man, is airing now. And, it's all about lawfare and expose all these corruptions and crooks. But I hope to see you all in Chicago and not be scared of the guns.
But time out. Yeah, don't be scared. I talked about all this stuff about Italy. We had this Italian talk. But I didn't realize, did Tucker buy your documentary? Tucker's a friend of mine. Love Tucker. But did he buy the documentary and put like how he bought James's? That's awesome. That's awesome.
Well, it's not. I don't take the credit for all the project. I'm just one of the lead interviewers, but I work along with Sean Stone, and who is directing the series and is also carrying some interviews. And it's pretty.
It's hard to
like
ask
Rudy
the questions.
Giuliani.
It's hard. It's hard. Even if you don't
It's
write the questions, it's hard.
no, I do write the questions and I do make the questions. So it's.
Well, I'm not even saying you didn't. I was just saying, well, you know, people ask me all the time, like, Alex, I want to go do man on the street bits. I want to do man on the street. What
no,
should
no,
I ask
it's
people?
very.
I'm like, it's hard to just find good questions. You know, I mean, I can interview people, but you know, man on the street, sometimes it's hard to come up with, if you only have a limited amount of questions, some good questions sometimes. You know, people don't think it's so easy. It's not.
That's not. It's the most difficult thing to interview people. I'm much easier to be interviewed, right?
Mm-hmm.
You never know how to interact and you know what to ask, and you do it great because I love your humor.
Oh, well, I really appreciate that. Everybody needs to go meet you and George in Chicago at the Conservative Caucus. And guys, go follow Simona on X. She has a great account over there. And thank you guys for watching. Peace.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, that was great.
Thank you so much.
Hey,
Thank
Simona,
you, guys. Very
Alex,
fun.
I got some news that affects both of y'all. So Zoom is experiencing a nationwide outage right now. So, so because I was trying to send George the invite and it was farting out, and I basically discovered on Twitter. So I just emailed George, but our backup is Skype. So if he has a Skype, just have him send me
think
his
it does.
username.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, of course.
George
I'm gonna tell him.
As long as we have Skype, we're fine. If Zoom is back up before the show, we're going to use that because it's just a little.
Is that StreamYard though?
This is StreamYard, yes, because we just pre-taped this. We're actually going to play this interview next week. I'm going to be out of town for 2 days.
Okay, you let me know and I'll post it.
Yeah, we're gonna stream this Tuesday. Well, I'll let you know.
Okay.
So yeah, I just emailed George, but obviously you're there with him, so just give him.
Yeah, he's somewhere. I mean, yes. So I'm gonna
yeah, just email me his Skype username, and we'll use that unless Zoom is back.
I still, though, Simona, I'm still sick. I'm still sick though that Jimmy would say, "Move and get in, not backlit." Why Jimmy's so backlit like that? I mean, well, can he be a bigger idiot?
I'm a bigger.
I love Jimmy, but he went to Princeton. He thinks.
Wow.
Is there? What's the Ivy League in Italy equivalent? Do they have like their Princeton or whatever? I mean, aren't those all nerds?
Yes, we have la Bocconi. Milano, Bocconi. Bocconi, sì.
Yeah.
Did you smoke
cigarettes? Did you smoke cigarettes when you were 12 years old?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you smoked cigarettes when you were 12 years old. Do not sit here and lie.
Me? No.
You in Italy? You didn't try Camel cigarettes when you were in Italy.
No, my dad would kill me.
Your dad probably smoked.
Yeah, my dad's from time to time, but I started to smoke later on. Yes, around 19. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Hey, I'm not hating on cigs. I like tobacco. I'm just saying, in Italy, it's like you almost have
everybody
to smoke
smokes.
cigarettes.
Yes, everybody does.
It's like you always have.
Now they have the vape replacement. The vape replacement.
Everybody's vaped out. Yeah, I know. I've been guilty of vaping twice too. So,
no, it's great. So, but it's worse. Apparently, it's worse. Thank you so much, guys. I'm gonna tell George to send you his Skype and let me know when you stream that. So sorry for the setting; it was a little crazy, but
that makes it better.
And Janelle says y'all are hanging out in a couple weekends. Just give her a hug for me. And
Janelle is the best. I love her.
Janelle's a lot of fun. All right.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.
Well, Simona is a very spicy meatball. I mean, talk about Italian stallion. She is great, and her husband's great, and that sucks that they got basically railroaded by the federal government. And, Milan, Italy doesn't sound that bad, or Rome, Italy doesn't sound that bad after you have all of Washington, D.C. up your butt and around the corner, if you know what I mean. So, guys, thank you for watching this show. It's been a great show. Thank you to Marcy Rheintgen, a nice young man, for coming on the show, and also, Simona. Thank you to the University of Connecticut and especially Turning Point USA. We love you, Turning Point USA. Thank you for all the opportunities that you afforded me. I'm actually right now, I am about to speak at Clemson University here in South Carolina. So you guys are going to want to see clips from that. So check out the social media, check out my Twitter, and check out my Instagram to watch those as they come out. I love you guys. Peace and good night. But we end the show the same way every time with what? That freestyle finale. So DJ, hit that beat. Yo, prime time. Yo, sitting at my desk. Vaping is the best. Blowing that smoke. Blowing that smoke. It ain't a joke. High on vape all night long. In a vape to the song, I love to vape. Vaping is so cool. You should start vaping every single day. You should vape. If you're 12 years old, you should start vaping. Actually, don't vape if you're 12 years old. I'll be honest, I've been vaping, so I'm not making good decisions. So don't vape, kids. Stay in school. Peace, good night.